morning, everyone, and welcome to our time together. I'm Lori Lamantia, and I'm here with the conscious and available Trisha Fisk.
Good morning, everybody.
So I'm really excited today. Today, Trisha and I are going to work with you to embark on, well, to say a 5 session journey, but we're going to introduce it today. And this is conscious creating through yoga. Many, quite a while ago, Trisha and I, we've been working on this for years, put a program together called Conscious Creating Through Yoga. And it's really a beautiful process and it uses journaling and meditating and contemplating to really help you align and direct your energy around the things you want to consciously create. And so it's about really making concretizing and making clear what you do want to bring from the energy ethers into physical, tangible reality, and do that consciously in the way that excites you, in a way that it feels aligned to who you are and how you are. And so this process, we're going to introduce it today, and I'm going to turn it over to Tricia in a second, but we're going to introduce it today and talk through just a summary of it. And then for the next 5 podcasts, we're going to kind of do more of a deep dive into each of the 5 segments or steps, so to speak, that this process talks about. And one of the things, if you are interested, is we actually have the workbook. There's a workbook journal book on Amazon. It's under Conscious Creating Through Yoga, and you could type in Trisha Fisk or Lori Lamantia along with that, and you'll find it on Amazon. And we also have it on our on the we'll put a link in under the podcast, and we'll do that every week. So if you do want to go and kind of do some marinating along with what we're doing today, we highly encourage that. And so, Trisha, I'm going to turn it over to you. And we're going to say this over and over today, so don't worry about it. I'm going to turn this over to you, and I want you to introduce it also from your perspective.
All right. We don't even understand what powerful creators we are.
Mhm.
Um, and it's like once we start to discover that, then it's in our power, if you will. And I kind of hate to use the word power, but our discretion to start to direct our energy and attention towards the things we want rather than our fears. And that's a big thing. And I think, especially for what's going on everywhere in the world right now, focusing on intentions and where we want our lives, ourselves to move, our relationships, is it's really important to focus on them instead of everything that's falling apart. And it's hard because it's a distraction. Um, but that's why we want to keep coming back to it. And that's why journaling and contemplation is so valuable for doing this. So you can kind of, allow yourself those moments of, wow, what do I really dream of? What
Right. And
would
what do I
really
feel? What do
be,
I think? What
yeah,
do I want?
right,
Without the overhead of, well, I can only want this if then, everybody else is
right,
happy. This is your opportunity to get clear and, like you said, dream and
yes.
have the creation, have the desire.
And the thing that we don't always think about, but is true, is that when we are really stepping into our own power, we are serving our world and
Totally.
our people, our relationships the best we can.
Yeah.
We're at our best when we're at our best.
Yes. Well
But
said. Love that. We're
yeah,
at our best when we're at our best.
right. It's not an ego thing. It's a, this is
Right.
my dharma. This is what I came here to do, and I'm
Right.
gonna really thrive in that. And then, the people around you see that, and you offer them the same.
Oh yeah, you
We're not
radiate
at
it.
the
It
right.
gives people permission to stand in their sovereign power. And don't
Yes.
step away from that. This isn't about power over. This is about owning and enjoying your creative capability, your power to invest your energy. That's
Hmm.
really an important aspect of this is you're powerful when you know what you want, you stay focused on you want, you put your attention, energy there, and you get to be excited about being the creator, a conscious creator. And so, and that's so important, especially like you're saying right now, where people do feel disempowered. You might feel like, what I feel doesn't matter, and I don't get to have what I want or what I desire. And those things that bubble up from within you, the they like we talked about last week, if you want it, life wants it for you. When you say when you have your clarity, this is what I want, life goes, hears and works. It works with your vibration. And that's what really conscious creating, and that's why we talk about yoga, is getting your vibration aligned to that which you say you want. Because most people are vibrating scattered. They're vibrating, I want this, but I can't have it. You get this push pull and it goes nowhere. This is about consciously applying, 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 building the muscle, focusing, and keeping, getting to at least 51%. Or, hopefully not. I say I want this and then spend the next 6 weeks or lifetime going, but I can't, but it won't, but all of
Right.
that
Right.
undermines the clarity.
Or this has to happen first before that can happen.
Right.
Get rid of that one too. That's a boy, that's a weight. That's an anchor.
Totally. Right. And so, because I was listening to Joel Goldsmith this weekend, and, God, that energy doesn't understand can't. It only understands yes. And so if you say
Mhm.
can't, it says yes. It's weird, but it's beautiful because it honors that you are a conscious creator. It's all energy. There's no judgment. It's alignment with and the law of attraction, just responding to your consistent vibration. And so, what we're doing with this program is really saying, how do you get clear and consistent consciously of your vibration of what you want to create? That's it. It's super simple. And taking away the judgments and all the stuff we've learned over, lifetimes of this is how it goes and all that stuff. It is just a basic energy investment. You vibrate this way, life shows up to support you and say yes to you.
Right. And one of the reasons we put yoga with this is because yoga has all these wonderful tools for working with that alignment piece, working with your mind to get it focused so it's not all over the place. The contemplation part, so that you can become aware. Are you saying to yourself, no, I can't have this. No, I don't deserve it. No, A has to happen before B can happen. Because unless we actually take the time to sit and reflect on these things, we don't even know they're there. They're so unconscious, they just snap into place every time something happens. I mean, we're reactive. People are pretty reactive. This is
Right.
asking us to not just react, but to step back and actually contemplate, okay, if I want this, what are my beliefs? What are my beliefs around that? I remember years ago, the first yoga book I ever read was Autobiography of a Yogi by
Oh, paradigm
right,
shifting in every way.
right. And I remember him saying it so simply. It's like, if I want a chair, but I have any beliefs that I don't deserve it, or I have to work for it, or I have to do this in order to have it, then that's exactly what you're creating. But if you have no resistance and I want a chair, all of a sudden this chair will
It shows up.
Many chairs will just start to show
Yes, an
up.
abundance
Right.
of chairs. You'll start
Right.
noticing chairs all over. This is why I think beginner's luck is so beautiful. It's because you don't know what you don't know that you can't or that shouldn't.
Right.
You know,
Right.
that's Eden. That's, I would call that's part of when you're in heaven on earth. But that we've talked about that before. But when you were saying that, it really made me think about the process of, one of the steps in the process, which we'll talk a little bit about, is alchemizing. First we awaken to who we really are and we get clear. We start talking about this is what I want to experience. And, I'm going to walk through the 5 steps now. And that first one is really important to understand that you are this magical divine being. And then, you align to that magic, that unlimited, that's all around you. But part of the third process is alchemizing. What Trisha was just talking about, where we catch ourselves in the middle of, but what about, and well, no, I can't, and that seeing it and then realizing you can alchemize it. And there's very clear ways through pranayama and again yoga to alchemize energy. And once we can alchemize that and go, oh, I see it, it pops some call it karma, but it pops the fear bubble, it lets it go. You forgive yourself or you forgive whatever, or you release it, and then you're free to go on to attract and allow, which are the next two, quote unquote steps. But they all work together. But I don't think we can stress enough the power of alchemizing. And you don't have to do all these at the same time. You don't have to do them sequentially. They can happen really quickly and fast.
Mm, that's a good
Um,
point. Yeah.
but understanding that's why we created this program is, to really pull out, let me really awaken and remember who I really am. Let me intentionally align to that abundance, or the thing that I'm conscious creating. Let me look and see, is there something I need to alchemize, and alchemize it and let it go. And then let me get back to what I was attracting or what I want to create, where I'm going to invest my energy. And the last one is, and then know it's a done deal. Allow it, which are all muscles. These are all muscles. These are all consciousness that we have to, I don't want to say have to. These are consciousnesses that we bring to the forefront and just instead of falling into that habitual pattern, like Trisha was saying.
Right. Right. Because that stuff is it's just unconscious. It's just our typical go-to. Um, and until we start to even crack that, crack through that by just, what if? What if? What if it wasn't that? It was this. Once we start that, though, then it's like you open up to a perspective of complete everything,
Yeah, right.
unlimited, unlimited.
When you said that, I was like, and this is what's so cool about wanting something. It it pushes you into well, how do I go about having it? And the
Right.
desire puts you on it puts you on a journey. And let's say this one is a journey on understanding the power you have to be a creator, like you said, and understanding and making a little bit more conscious the process to go about doing that. And this is just one way, obviously. If you're here listening to this, this is the way for you now. And, there'll be other processes, I'm sure, that'll come along through your life. They have through mine, they have through
Yeah.
Trisha's, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
But if you're here listening to this now, this might be the time for you to use another, this is just another tool, another arrow in your quiver, so to speak.
To help create the life you want and let yourself understand how powerful you are, even in the midst of all this other stuff happening. I mean, I'm going to just throw in here, not in detail, but I have major family stuff going on with aging and illness and things like that. And I realize now how that is a part of life, yes, but how we meet it, how we greet it, how we work through it, those are all choices. Those are
Right.
all choices that we have. Yes, it can be horrible or it can be beautiful.
Well, and I think sometimes those, as you said, you integrate, you need to work with them, but they don't necessarily have to knock you off your path, or they knock
No,
you,
right,
they don't have to make you feel like, well, life doesn't care about me, and life is, it's really important to not get caught in the wash of what other people are experiencing. And, we can have compassion and we can have empathy, but many times we take on their energy, and we've talked a lot about this, and it uses us up, and
right,
can get caught in the regret or the resentment or the rejection and all the energy drainers that are out there. And then there's not availability for the conscious creating we want to do. And that's important for people to really realize is when you use up your energy, you invest it in all those other places, there goes your day, boom. And
right,
then the things you love get put to the back burner, back to the burner, back to the back burner.
right. And so this work for me doesn't mean my family situation changes, but my ability to be present, to receive it, to respond to it, all of those are my choices.
Mhm.
And they can be rough and bring up all the old family crap and all that stuff, or it could be really gentle and be really loving right now, which is my intention as I go through this and do all this
Right.
work
Yeah.
again. Right.
Well, in fact, I
Yeah.
asked Trisha, are you sure you want to do this right now? And she's like, absolutely. I need
Yes.
to.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I really appreciated that because we couldn't, Trisha and I even talked about putting this on the back burner. And it's like, no, this is the time to step into it and
Ab-
allow ourselves that.
Absolutely. This is the time to jump in and be present. And yeah, right. And go for again, presently, what's the path for me through this navigating this situation where I stay in that place of remembering my divinity. It's that simple for me. What are
That's
the,
what you're consciously creating. If I were to ask
yeah,
you, what are you consciously creating?
well, I'm not creating my divinity. I'm
No,
only becoming more clear and aware of it.
right.
Yes,
Because one of the
whatever.
things we were asking was, what do we want, as a part of this intro is, what are we gonna, what do you want to create? And I thought I just heard you say it.
Well, I want to create a clearer path to my divinity.
Mm,
The divinity's already there. I don't have to create that. It's my path there. And
right.
you use the analogy sometimes about a stream, that it's
Mhm.
like water you're flowing into. So I had what popped into my head was more like the yellow brick road
Right.
from the
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Yeah. The yellow brick road, it for sure, put one foot in front of the other.
Right, right.
Um, and that's what, and that's that. Thank you for saying that because when we put down the things we're, or the thing, and for the purposes of this work, pick a thing that you want to consciously create and watch how life navigates you through it, through the yellow brick road. We don't know where the road's going to lead us, but when you make a clear intention like that, a clear, this is what I want to create, life's going to navigate you down the yellow brick road. And the best, you know, this is the, the best we should can do is take that next step and take that next step. And the thing I would add that has been hard one for me in my life and trust that that beautiful road is taking you where you said you wanted to go. The answer is
Mm.
yes. most people think the answer is no. I'm gonna knock you around and see if you really want it and all that. No, it's yes, or let's try this different way, or I have something even better. But it's never, and if the no is maybe it's no, not yet, because we need this, but it's still yes. Yes, we just need to develop that. And that's such an important aspect of conscious creating, in my opinion, and what I've learned, is leaning in, trusting that the answer is yes.
Absolutely. So for this week, getting started, start to think and write freely about what it is you want with no if, and, or buts. Just truly, what is it you really want right now? And using your yoga, sit down, take a breath, follow your breath a little bit to get yourself focused and your mind clear, and then just start to write. Don't stop yourself. Don't worry about complete sentences. Just start to scribble and just pay attention to what pops up.
Yes.
Let yourself be surprised.
Totally. We were talking about this, how important the journaling is aspect of this, because it does bring clarity, and handwriting does help you get clear. You
Yeah,
can type, but if you get some paper and start writing, Julia Cameron in her book, The Artist's Way, used to have every day write 3 pages, just handwrite and get all the stuff out. But inside of there, that journaling that you said, this is what I really want. You might see, but I can't, or this came up, and then let that all come out with no judgment,
right. Let it flow. Yeah,
right?
just be a nonstop trickle of or flood of whatever's
Yeah.
coming up for you. Yeah.
Because inside of that journaling, you're going to have so much information. Where did I tell myself I can't have the yes? Or why did I assume a no? Or you never know what's going to come out. That's what's so exciting about journaling, in my opinion, is the clarity and the understanding that comes forth. And so making a big part of this process, giving yourself the time to journal, will help you very much unfold and clarify for yourself where you have been investing, where you want to really invest your energy, and get clearer about what you want. Because a lot of people think they don't want anything. And I really think it's because I don't know what I want to create. It's because there's layers and layers and layers of, I've tried before, I've been told no, all the it's not worth it. It doesn't matter. I don't matter. There's so much stuff that comes forth. And that's all just layers and layers of soot on top of the diamond that wants to experience itself fully here. So let that journaling really inform you, clarify, and be a place of hmm, letting your heart's desires come forward.
Right. Which is why, I mean, you might be really surprised by what you write.
Totally, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. So let that happen. Let it bubble up and percolate and marinate in it, as Lori loves to say. And yeah, even if when you're writing it, it seems outrageous
The
or
more
yeah,
outrageous, the better. I
the
love
better,
outrageous,
right?
right? That's our souls. Like, you got such little ideas, little girl. Come on, we got big ones. We're the unlimited, taking on a body, but we're still unlimited.
Yes. So let them come up. Let them. Yeah.
So just to
All
summarize,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is great. And I want to say one more time that this was the introduction. The big thing we would love for you to take away from is to sit down and do some journaling about what you want to create. Over the next 5 sessions, we're going to walk through the steps of awakening, aligning, alchemizing, attracting, and then allowing. We're going to walk through those. And as we do, have your journal, and please think about going and getting the book on Amazon, because this will all be a nice rich soup let's say, that we're creating for you to um, have the experience of putting clearly down what you want to create and letting yourself have it because life wants you to experience it.
Yes. And again, the book is a workbook.
Yes, it's
So it's
absolutely,
right.
it's right.
It's
It's
got,
a soft
yeah, all
cover.
the pages for you to journal in. And yeah.
Yes. But I realized you're probably going to need more paper. It's probably not thick enough. So have that as your backbone. And then when you get done writing it, if there's not enough room, get another spiral notebook and scribble, scribble, scribble. Don't
Yes.
limit yourself with paper, for goodness sake.
Oh gosh, no. Right.
So we're excited. Like I said, I'm very excited about this. I think this is going to be a lot of fun for
Yes.
all of us.
And we'll do it together.
Totally.
Yes.
So, namaste, everyone. Have a great weekend.
All right.
Journal, journal, journal.
Yeah.
Lots of
Bye.
love. Bye-bye.